how many fighters, when you look at the amount of money and everything that's there, does he bring the PFL all of those elements? Because look, he's good. I take nothing away from him. Francis, he was the champ. He's a beast when it comes to power in his hands and everything. But does he move the needle like you want someone to move the needle? You know, the UFC talked about this forever. You know, it was the whole question with Nate Diaz. You know, oh, Nate, you know, Dana came out and said Nate doesn't move the needle. Then all of a sudden he goes, all right, he moves the needle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because they're honest about it when someone does. And truthfully, Francis has never been that guy that's moved the needle in that big way. Now, that doesn't mean he's not a great fighter. John Jones had problems moving the needle for a long time, and it's, you know, kind of changed a little bit with his last fight with Gane. He did good numbers, but that's coming back out of, you know, basically a, you know, 2.5, 3 year freaking absence. Is he worth the amount that he's going to be making? I'm happy he's making it.
Yeah.
But is he worth it?
There's like we go through this type of stuff every year with the NFL draft. You know, it's not just the draft. It goes by like Lamar Jackson when he just went, Patrick Mahomes when he's on the Chiefs. Are you mortgaging your future? That's kind of where, you know, most of these football teams go through it. Like, is this person worth it? Is it worth the long term of, you know, will they make my team better? But then you're talking a team sport. But the conversation is, did we just mortgage our future for a fighter that is a fantastic fighter? There's no doubt. I'm not going to sit up here and say he's not. He's fucking awesome.
No, he's great.
Awesome. This guy's got power in his hands. He's learning how to wrestle.
In no way am I putting Francis Ngannou in any way down. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's a great person. I think he should make as much money as he can. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at it in the opposite side because, look, there was a lot of people that, you know, talked about a lot of money and, you know, for whatever reasons couldn't come to, you know, agreements with Francis, and that's fine. That's his choice. But do you get the return, you know, on investment? Is that ROI really there for you where it's coming back and it's going to work out for you in the end?
Got it. I can't say a yes or no. I don't know. I think there'll be.
We won't know until later on.
Yeah, that first fight, I think that he'll do pretty well depending on who he fights. They just want to see him in another promotion, whoever it is. They're going to try to support it. I think you're going to obviously see Jake Paul get behind this because he is making good money, and on top of that, it's basically in Jake's kind of promotion type situation. I don't know how much Jake is involved in the decision making. I don't know how much Jake is part of that.
He's part of that pay-per-view platform they've got, right?
Yeah, so he's trying to help grow this thing, which is good. But what did he eventually say he was making per fight? Do you know there, Dave?
He never told Ariel. So when he was interviewed by shall not be named, he said that his opponent makes guaranteed $2 million. He makes a bit more, is what he said.
Okay. So let's just say he makes $4 million a fight. Let's say he makes double. The other opponent gets $2 million. $6 million a fight. The numbers that they're doing on TV are about 285 at the highest, 285 to 300. Let's be on the more positive side, okay? Let's not be negative, okay?
I'm not being negative. I'm looking at it. It's a hard go because of where it's at. But
yeah. I think they'll end up getting about 400 maybe. For his first
400 pay-per-view buys?
Oh, no. No. He'll
be on.
Oh, he won't be on the normal platform.
He is not going to be on in their tournaments.
Oh. No, I know he's not going to be on the tournaments, but he won't do a super fight. He won't be in that super fight, but it won't just be on the regular platform super fights.
That's that pay-per-view platform that they're trying to go with.
Well, good luck with that. I don't see what did they get their first time? Just under 10,000, right?
Yes. 89.
10,000. 8,900.
8,900.
Yeah. Wow.
That's abysmal.
Wow.
And now, you put him on there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should go way up.
What's way up?
Not enough but is it enough to make up that difference?
It depends on how they're doing the pay-per-view model. Is the pay-per-view model a pay-to-play kind of thing where I have to pay until we hit a certain amount of views? Am I buying the pay-per-view up to 150,000 views, and then you pay me, 3/4 or 50% or whatever, 90%
It
or 80%.
all depends on the provider and what they're doing. Like I can remember back when
Yep.
Affliction was coming out.
Oh, I thought you were going to say UFC.
You know, and what's that? I can remember back with the UFC pay-per-view, but look at in the beginning, the numbers and scales, the provider was making all the money. And as things go, you hope to get to 50-50 and then you want to get to 60-40, but that's not an easy thing to do. But, even back when, you think about it, like I said, Affliction, look at their first show, Josh. Look at the people they had on that card. They had everybody. I mean, it was a who's who of MMA talent. Arlovsky was on it, Sylvia, Fedor, Matt Lindland, Vitor Belfort. I mean, the list went, it was crazy. Ben Rothwell, who's now fighting bare knuckles. But at the time, Todd Beard, who was running Affliction, he expected to make at least 500,000 pay-per-view buys. And I told him, I said, Todd, that's not going to happen. It's just not. People buy now the UFC based upon not even who's fighting. They base it believing that the UFC is going to provide them with a quality show, entertainment, and they're going to enjoy it. It's tough to get 100,000 pay-per-view buys. Now, it can be done, and that's a home run if you are that promotion putting out things on pay-per-view right now. Look, even the UFC doesn't sometimes get a whole lot of big numbers. But if you're what do you think the pay-per-view price is going to be? Because the higher it is, the less people that buy it.
Yep.
So what do you think it's going to be?
I mean, I don't think they're going to go any lower than $49.95 or $99. $49.99.
Okay, so $50 we'll say,
yeah,
right?
$50.
Okay, so if you do $50 and you do 100,000 buys, how much money is that? Because you're only getting half.
Really?
If
really,
that.
John? You're making me do math right now? Okay. That's what we're doing.
So you're not even coming close to paying his and his opponent's salary. And then you got all those other fights.
Yeah.
That's where this business comes in. It's it's a tricky game when you get into pay-per-view.
Look, if I'm an outsider, which I am in this, is not only is he paying for himself, but is he going to help bring in enough people to pay for the rest of the crowd, the rest of the fights?
Well, and the crowd, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I don't look as
He's
much.
Got to
as
put
you,
butts in the seats.
Yeah, as much as you enjoy watching him fight, as much as I love watching him knock people out and snapping their head back. I mean, his knockout of Overeem was.
Oh my god!
I thought he died.
Almost scary.
Yeah, and it was not almost. It was very scary. I was like, I've never seen the back of their skull touch their spine.
Yeah,
like it snapped all the way back. He touched his back on his spine. It was disgusting. Look, I feel like they kind of mortgage their future a little bit with this. Is this like a last-ditch effort, you think, to try to really bring in as much as they possibly can in terms of fans?
I don't know. They have done a remarkable job of getting investors and continuing to get investors time over time, and God bless them for doing it, man. That's showing that, you are, good talkers, good businessmen, able to make people believe, because what they're using is that number from the UFC. And they're saying, look, this is what we're after. And this is where, once we get here, we're going to sell, and look at what we're going to make. And there's always the possibility, but I don't think you're going to see another MMA promotion, be it PFL, One, Bellator, any of them, sell for anything close to what the UFC sold for.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
No. I don't think so either. But look, I'm going to give you some comparisons, though. So I heard in the last fight with Chris Cyborg, and I'd been up here saying, like, hey, the when Bellator was trying to re-sign or talking with Chris, that do I think she's valuable? I think she's extremely valuable. But you don't have
the cost per fight.
It's not the cost per fight. It's just the people that she has to fight. She can only fight Arlene Blankout so much.
That's
right? Like you have her. Now we signed Sarah McMahon. We still have Kat Zingano to fight her.
Zingano.
And now that we know that Kayla Harrison's not going to be back in the PFL, so they freed up that money. They're not paying her, so then that's going to be a lot of money that the PFL is saving because she won't be back. So now the signing kind of makes a little bit more sense, I believe, with Cyborg signing with Bellator, back with Bellator. But let me give you some numbers on that. In Chris's fight, she's always been very valuable. And I know she got mad at me over the stuff that I said, but I wanted to make clear she brings in numbers.
Yes.
And let's talk about those numbers. Like in her last boxing match, a boxing match that people were like, "Oh, I didn't realize she was boxing." She sold 10,000 tickets. She also
phenomenal.
sold, yes,
Hold
and
on.
had 25 million Brazilians watching.
Josh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Explain to people what putting 10,000 butts in the seats
It's
is.
insane. It's insane.
Okay.
They don't realize that.
Insane.
It's insane.
Yes.
Yeah, look, even though I fought all the time in San Jose, I was selling anywhere between 100 to 100. I'm maybe a little exaggerating on the 120, somewhere in the $110,000 range, $110,000 range. But that only really equated on based off of where they bought their tickets. Some people bought $50 tickets. Some people bought the $1,000 tickets, down by the front. It just depended on where it was. But it ranged. I was about $100,000 worth of tickets normally.
That's a lot.
Average.
For a promoter, man, you're a star.
Yeah, that's a lot. And that explains a lot why I continue to be towards the top of the card, when you're selling those amount of tickets, because you want those fans to stay until you fight. But with her, she was selling 10,000 tickets. That equates to over $100,000 easily. I mean, even in the nosebleed seats, that's easily over $100,000. But on top of that, she had 25 million people watching from Brazil. Now, I don't know what that means for the promotion, but there's just no way. There's just no way that Francis is getting 25 million people to watch him.
Maybe from Cameroon.
Maybe you think so?
He's pretty popular.
Okay.
It's pretty popular.
How many people are in Cameroon?
I have no concept. I don't think 25 million though.
But then to get the people inside. Then
Dave, find out how many population of Cameroon.
27.
27.2. So everybody has to watch.
Everyone has to watch.
Everybody.
But I think, look, maybe he does. Okay, so you get but what's the contract deal for the network in whether it's Cameroon or in Africa or wherever? What's the contract deal with them for TV? Are they making any money off of it? Are they bringing in? I mean, if they were smart, they'd be out there shopping him right now to those networks in that area to try and make some kind of money off of that. Making sure their pay-per-view goes over there, or even if it's just free for them to watch. Even though
there's going to be no pay-per-view.
There's going to be no pay-per-view over there. We get it. That's kind of how it is in a lot of the countries, though. People don't realize that. When you buy pay-per-view, it's like Canada, Japan, Australia, US. That's it. The rest of the countries don't pay for pay-per-view. That's it. There's not many that we actually have deals with that make money off of the pay-per-views. So it's really just the US, Canada, Japan, and Australia. I think there's another one in the UK. Sorry, in the UK. But the numbers that Chris brings in are definitely kind of worth where she's at.
Righteous numbers.
I'm not going to get into what her contract is and how much she makes, but let's just say it's around, a good amount. It's a good amount. We're in that good money talk. I don't want to say too much. But we're in that good. She's making good money.
She's making,
She's making good money. Look,
You're
John,
right.
let's get off that. Let's get off that. But the thing is, now that we've signed fighters for her to fight, it makes sense. They need to find ways to bring somebody else in for him to fight. They need to have the heavyweights they have right now. I don't see it. Like he's
they just lost a couple.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
You saw what happened with the testing.
Yeah, we did see what happened with the testing. Yes.
So you just lost a couple of those.
Who? Capoloza was one of them, right?
Bruno was one of them.
Who was it?
Yep.
Bruno was one of them.
Yep.
I'm trying to see if I can filter this by heavyweight. Let's see.
I can tell you that Abubakar is not a heavyweight. I can tell you that. And I know this Abigail, she's not a heavyweight either.
Yeah, but I'm currently trying to search.
Hey, Abu Bakr got a better record going to the PFL.
Yeah.
They had a loss taken off. How the hell does that happen?
I think that's old.
Oh my
Let's
God.
see if we can break this out by.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's just trying to give me champions or.
There's
the
your
website's
champion.
not
Well,
good.
from the last one, okay, you got Ante Delia. He was their champion this year.
Mm-hmm.
How does he fare against Ngannou?
I mean, no.
Probably not very well.
But that's my point. And my point is, though, is that we're paying him a lot of money. His opponent's making a lot of money. And we may end up seeing fights like Mike Tyson when he was young.
Here's the.
You're going to get like
heavyweight.
minute and a half long fights or minute long fights. And, you're going to run into that. MMA fans are not used to that. They're not, they want the fights that have a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of grappling, a little bit of the mixture. They want a little bit of that back and forth battle. That's the point of having all these different skills, is that if you're the one with all the power, that I can still go out there and try to take you down, slow you down, do all these things. Now, look, John, we may be wrong. I mean, what happens if Francis doesn't prepare for these opponents like he did in the UFC? Maybe this is, you could think of it. You could think of it in different ways. I get it.
It's not his personality.
But you could think about it in different ways. He could be looking so far ahead to the boxing with Anthony Joshua that he gets away from just his submission game, his wrestling game, and he ends up fighting someone that is able to get him down to the ground. He's not the best guy off of his back.
No.
And so, I mean, these are all things that potentially, and that would be even the worst thing for the PFL, is if his first fight in MMA, he ends up losing. If his first fight in MMA in the PFL, he ends up losing, they're like, wait, we just paid all this money. And now, and then it's hard.
But that happens.
It does.
It happens to every promotion.
It does.
It's happened to the PFL. Shane Burgos got a great contract from him. He lost his first fight. Big deal. He's going to be back.
Yeah, Shane was never a champion.
True.
And I think when I feel like when fighters leave the UFC and they go to another promotion, the promotion wants to see them have a good fight, but doesn't want them to win against their guys. They want their guy to win. So, but they also want to see a good fight, a little back and forth to say, hey, we told you that our guy can win. We told you our guy could fight him. We told you that, they want to make sure all the money they're paying goes towards, hey, we still have this guy. We have the former UFC champion, and our guys are giving him a tough go, which means that our guys are just as good. Now we can piggyback on that. But they don't want to lose the value of that fighter, because then everyone's just going to do what I've seen and heard for years, for decades, is that, oh, he's washed up. That's what you're going to hear. If Francis loses, we're going to hear he's washed up.